Hello and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm, where I try and figure out how to live more sustainably on 300 square metres in the city. So this video is all about sort of kicking off with my winter wardrobe makes, if you like. Because what I realised was that to sort of get anywhere with this, I need to know what the current state of play is, what I have currently in my house. So that goes for like clearing out my wardrobe, which I did the other day, if you see that video. I sort of went through my closet and I did a sort of a declutter, and I really sort of got rid of things that I wasn't wearing and weren't really working for me anymore. So I got rid of those items sort of in preparation for the new things that I want to make to go in there. And while I was doing that, I was really just sort of assessing what was in my wardrobe, what I liked and what were the key pieces. And spoiler alert, there's actually not much in my winter wardrobe at the moment that really works for me. There are some very, very hard-working pieces which go around and around and around. And I need more in my winter wardrobe. My summer wardrobe is fine now because after doing the big sort of summer capsule wardrobe that I did for my trip in Europe, I've got plenty of summer clothes. But it's my winter wardrobe that is really in need. The other part of that, which I realised quite early on when I was trying to figure out what pieces I wanted to make and what would go into this new winter wardrobe of mine, I was sort of coming up with ideas for fabrics that I remembered that I had in my stash. If you remember, they're just up there. And then what happened a couple of times is I went up there, got the fabric down, and found that actually it was a different colour than I thought. Actually, I didn't have quite as much or more than I needed in that fabric, if you like. And other times I went and I thought, I could have sworn I had a piece of fabric like that, but then I didn't have. So obviously I've used it at some point and it wasn't available in my stash. So it became clear quite early on that what I needed to do was do a full sort of stash stock take. That's not easy to say. But I needed to do a stash stock take and record all of the things like, you know, what the fabric was, what the weight of it was, what it looked like, and most importantly, how much I had of each piece. Because one of the pieces of fabric I was going to make a skirt with, and I thought, oh yes, I'll make a beautiful skirt. It's a needle cord, it's a Liberty print needle cord, and I really like it. And I thought, oh, I'll make a skirt. When I went up there to get the fabric down, I realized that I had more of it than I thought I had. So then it became sort of like a bit of a waste, if you like, to make a skirt out of it, because I had enough to make a dress. So that changed my thinking. I then thought, oh, I should probably make a dress with this. There are other pieces of fabric up there that I only have 1 metre of, and of course those would be better suited to being skirts. Whereas the Liberty print fabric, I think I had 2.5 metres of it, so definitely enough for a dress. So that's what I did. I got all of those bits of fabric out of those shelves, and my daughter very kindly helped me. So it was a team effort. Basically, I was photographing and measuring all the fabric, and my daughter was sort of recording it in the computer because she's a better typist than I am, faster. So she was doing all the recording, which was absolutely brilliant. I was also thinking that if I do that stock take and then sort of design the wardrobe from what I have, I'm likely to need some sort of connecting fabrics, or so I thought. But actually, as you will see, when I did the stock take, I was surprised at how many sort of neutrals, that isn't a word because I don't do neutrals, blues and greens and reds is what I do, but plain, sort of plain basics, that's probably the way to explain it. So I had sort of plain merino knits and some plain basics, which are very useful to sort of tying everything together. In fact, when I looked at it, my winter fabrics, I actually had more plains and less patterns, whereas this is entirely the opposite from my summer wardrobe. In my summer wardrobe, I generally get really attracted to sort of beautiful patterned fabrics. But in the summer, that sort of works okay because I tend to make sort of summer frocks. And you don't really need things to go with those summer frocks because it is an outfit in itself. Just a dress, pair of knickers, you're done. Maybe a lightweight cardigan. So really, it works well in the summer, but I find in the winter I prefer to wear separates and sort of layers because obviously it can be a bit colder, so I need to sort of pile on the layers. But then, being a lady of a certain age, occasionally I get quite warm, so I want all those layers to come off. And also then I do some busy things and I'm expending a lot of energy and I get warm, so I want to take those things off, and then I sit down and I get cold, so I need to put them back on again. So that sort of works better with multiple layers and different things that go together. So it's separates essentially in the winter, and then in the summer I tend to wear more like sort of simple frocks. So it was good news that I had a whole bunch of basics. I will need to add in a few extra fabrics, of course, because, you know, as we all know, fabric shopping is an entirely different hobby than actually making your own clothes. So finding the fabrics and cataloguing them and storing them and having wonderful thoughts and ideas and creative moments around the fabric that you've bought. Completely different hobby. That hobby also encompasses patterns. So when I buy patterns from a charity shop, I see that as a separate hobby. I will go to a charity shop and buy the patterns for $1, maybe $2. I enjoy looking through them. I enjoy reading the instructions. I enjoy looking at the illustrations and having ideas about what I'm going to make with those patterns. And then I put them into my my box of patterns. Sometimes they are very useful and I bring them out and might take a sleeve off something, or sometimes I might make the whole garment. I'll take the skirt or a top or something and I'll blend them all together and come up with a new pattern. Sometimes they just sit in the box and I've enjoyed buying them, and then every year, generally around Christmas, I will go through my pattern stash and pull out all the ones that I don't think I need, things that I've got duplicates of, and then I'll take those back to the charity shop. So in a way, what I do with my patterns is I'm just really donating to charity, but enjoying the patterns when I get them. So I'm always on the lookout for a nice vintage pattern. And of course, over time, my pattern collection is getting better and better and better, because obviously I only weed out the ones that aren't fabulous patterns. So over time, I'm curating, if you like, that's the word, curating the most amazing pattern collection. Well, I like to think so anyway. It's amazing for me. So I'm absolutely certain that I will need to buy some extra fabrics for this winter wardrobe, but hopefully not that many, 1 or 2, I'm imagining. So without further ado, let's get on with the stash stock take, and I'll come back to you after we've gone through all the fabrics. So I've had a little look on the internet this morning. My husband's had a look as well, and we found this software called Airtable, which is a sort of free database software. It sort of says you get like a free 13-day trial, and it looks like you would have to pay for it after that, but there is actually a free version after that. What I'm going to do is just take down a couple of pieces of fabric, measure them, enter them into this database. Oh, and I should say, by the way, when you go in and you search on Fabric Stash, there is a couple of databases that have already been set up by other people, sort of templates. So I've just picked one. I've just picked this sort of Fabric Stash database, which is very simple. It just literally, like, the fabric, there's an image, what type of fabric, and the dimensions and the composition. That's it, and that's all I really need. So I'm going to take these couple of fabrics, measure it, put it into the database and see if it works for me. If anybody uses Airtable and has experience of using these databases, please do put some comments in the comments below. That would be really helpful. Any tips or tricks you might have on how to use it and how it's worked for you, that would be great to share, because obviously I'm really interested in learning to see if it's going to work for me. Today I am going to get all of my fabric out, and I'm going to get it down and I'm going to record it and log it in my fancy new app, Airtable, which I really enjoy. And I've done a bit of a test run and put a few fabrics in just to test it. You might have seen that already, or I might put that afterwards, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to get all the fabrics down. So I do need a ladder because I'm quite short and all these fabrics are all up here. It's not a great system, it's just a bit of fabric that I've poked up underneath these boxes, so not ideal, but it sort of works temporarily. I do have to make a curtain for here, it's on the list. Actually, it's going to be quite heavy, I might take these down bits by bit.
a lot? Yes, probably. Too much, probably. So I've got some sort of basic denims. I've got quite a few sort of basic merino knits in plain colours. I've got some heavyweight linens, which I've sort of put in the winter section. I mean, we live in Auckland, so I would wear a heavyweight linen in winter, and certainly in most of the shoulder seasons, and so there would only be maybe a month or two maybe where I wouldn't wear heavyweight linen. So I'm putting them in the winter section. I've also put some t-shirting in here. They're darker colours. They're more of my sort of winter colours. Stretch, heavier weight t-shirting, and that's something that I'm more likely to wear in the winter actually, is a t-shirting in a dark colour. So I've put those in here too. And anything, I did have put a couple of lightweight cottons in here, not super lightweight, but cotton obviously, and I put those in here because they were in darker colours, and I know that if it's in a darker colour and it's a sort of a slightly stiffer cotton, that again I'm likely to wear in the winter more than the summer, so those are in this pile as well. I'll actually put you up to my Calyx unit now so you can have a look what's left, because bear in mind all of my fabric is in this Calyx unit, so I'll show you what I've got left. Okay, so as you can see now, I don't actually have that many fabrics left in here. I've got a few summer weight fabrics here. These up top, these actually are upholstery fabrics, and then on top of it I just have a few lining fabrics. So then, not technically fabric, if you know what I mean. They're lining fabrics that I might use with another garment. They're not the thing on the outside. And then down here I've got a few really lightweight silks and a little bit of sort of shirting, but not much. So this is the bulk of my summer fabrics left. So as you can see, the majority of fabrics I have in my stash are actually winter fabrics. Why do I have a lot of winter fabrics and not many summer fabrics? I don't know. Anyway, the point being, of course, is that I have all these winter weight fabrics, and I want to do a winter wardrobe, so I'm going to try my hardest not to go out and buy other fabrics, she says. Although this afternoon I'm actually going out to the fabric shops with my daughter. But that actually is for some fabrics that I can use for dance wear, because one of the things I really don't have here is any fabrics which I would class as sort of like going out special, shiny, sparkly, any of those types of fabrics. So we are going shopping for that because I've got a couple of Christmas dances coming up which I'd like to have something nice to wear. So we are going fabric shopping for that. But all of these, as you can see as they've come down, they are more sort of woolly, sort of dull everyday wear sort of fabrics. Coating, I have quite a lot of coating fabrics. Some of these I have got from charity shops, so obviously you just find what you find, and if it's good you're like, oh, I'll have that and bring it home. So not much in the summer wear category, lots in the winter wear category. So the first one is a heavyweight navy denim. Oh, hang on. Aha! Right, we're on photo. Heavyweight navy denim. Doesn't look very navy in the picture, but it'll just have to be what it'll be, presumably. This is going to be interesting, trying to measure it. What I should do, you know what I should do? I'm going to mark the table. The edge of the table.
Oh, that would be clever.
Okay, so brilliant plan, people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the table, because actually this table is 150 long, I think, so just double check that on the measuring, and then if it's the width of the table it'll be 150, won't it? This is going to be tricksy otherwise. No.
Well, what we could just do is on here we could temporarily tape the measure on it.
Daughter number 2 has a better idea. She had a brilliant idea that we should actually put the tape measure on the edge of the table, and then of course we could measure no matter how long it is, unless it's longer than this. Please excuse that little sort of chopping noise. My husband's making soup in the other room, which is very kind of him, and it'll be a nice lunch, but you will hear a bit of chopping and banging because he's quite a loud cook, should we say? Don't laugh, we can't laugh.
Just see.
Right, let's put that. Can you hold this? That looks really sharp, actually. I think I might make that permanent. I have some double-sided tape, so I've decided I like it so much that actually what I'm going to do is make this a permanent feature with some double-sided tape. Hopefully that'll work temporarily. I have a staple gun as well, which I could put some of those in as well just to make sure it stays put. Anyway, that's a project for another day. Let's get on with what we're doing. Right, I think I decided that this fabric... The other thing is my arms aren't quite long enough, which is a problem. This fabric is 150 wide and it is long. I have 2 times 7. I would have asked for 2 meters, let's call 2 meters. I'd never asked for 217. It would be the closest to 2 meters is what I've asked for. Okay, hopefully everyone after this is going to be a lot quicker now we've figured out the system. Okay, let's go. Crazy metallic denim. What was I thinking? I don't know. 150 wide. And like, but neither of my muses would wear this. This is the stupid thing, like, who would wear this? Okay, we are done. I have basically recorded all of these things. Really tricky because the camera is not recording some of the colours correctly. You know how a camera sort of compensates, and so something that's teal just looks blue or grey on the phone. So anyway, I have taken the pictures, I have measured everything. My wonderful assistant that you can't see over here has been recording everything at high speed on the computer. So it's all done.
Do you want to know the magic number?
Oh, and the magic number is
41.
41 pieces of fabric. And some of those fabrics are multiple t-shirts and multiple cardigans and things. So there's quite a lot of pieces of clothing there. I'm pleased to have got that done, I have to say, because yeah, it's a good feeling. And now when I'm planning out my winter wardrobe, I will be able to consult how much I've got, what it's going to make. Yeah, and really sort of plan it out so that it all works. So this is my Airtable that I've set up now. So as you can see, I've given the sort of fabrics names that are quite descriptive. Well, I say I've given them. My daughter actually typed these in as I was saying it out loud. So anyway, so we've got descriptions. Then I've got the little pictures here. So if you press on the little pictures, they actually bring up quite a large image. I did actually take the photos and then resize them before I put them into Airtable. So I resized them to 500 KB because that gave me lots of capacity in the database. And then as you can see, the next column, I've got the length of the fabric and then the width. And I've done this in a way that it's a drop down so that I can choose from various options. That way when I sort them, they all come out in a line. As you can see, it starts off with a small amount and then goes up to greater amounts like that. I've then also got the width in here, a sort of a description of the design, if you like, whether it's a plain or a stripe or a tartan, what have you, and then colour. And again, I've done these in drop downs so that I could sort of cluster together, say, these navies. You can also change the colour that it shows up. So I've tried my best to sort of, you don't get many options for colours. You'd have to have the paid version to get full colour options. But a few colour options so that I can just basically use navy as a dark sort of colour and then red, green is sort of coming out a bit pink. Then I've put in the content, so the fabric content, wool, cotton, whatever it happens to be. And then also importantly, I thought it was good to have, like, whether it's a woven or a knit or a stretch, because obviously that makes a big impact when you're trying to choose which fabric for a particular project. And then I've got the next column, which is the weight, and that's just really light, medium and heavy. And then a little space for notes of anything that I've particularly noticed while I was looking through and recording them. So that's it pretty much. And as you can see, all of my fabrics are, well, all of my winter weight fabrics are in there. I have a few summer ones, but they're not added as yet. But yeah, it's really nice to be able to click on that and see what the fabric actually looks like. The colours are not exactly correct, but good enough for design decisions, I think. Okay, so as you can see, I do have a rather large amount of fabric. Well, it's not really that large. I'm quite pleased with the fact that you could always find somebody on YouTube or on the internet that has way more than you. So actually, when you look at it in the big scheme of things, and I do watch quite a number of sort of sewing channels, and really my stash is, it's small potatoes, isn't it? It's very small compared with some of the other people I've seen on the internet, and that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But I like to think that it's always nice to have something in reserve so that when you want to make something, it's right there. And of course, the thing is, when you go fabric shopping, and it happens to me every single time, I think, right, I need a beautiful floral print to make this summer dress. So of course I go out shopping to all of the fabric stores, and can I find the fabric that I want? No, of course I can't, because at that point it isn't in the shops. But when you see something gorgeous, if you buy it, you know you've got it up there. Then you can think about ideas and what you're going to do with it. So in fact, it's a little bit of the other way around. I think I've got this lovely fabric. I'm going to make it up into the most amazing summer dress or skirt or jacket or whatever it happens to be. I did discover some gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics in my stash, which I can't wait to make up. I also discovered that I do I sort of lean towards coating by the looks of things, because I do have a number of pieces, maybe 4 or 5 probably pieces of quite heavyweight coating fabric up there. This one particularly is joyous. I mean, I think it's probably not going to come up. It's not going to come up on camera, is it? No, because that, I can see in the screen right there, that looks sort of blue. It almost looks like a bright blue. It isn't. It's the most glorious teal, a beautiful bright teal, and it's wool. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. It's got a nap, it's got a sheen, it's just lovely. And it was a remnant which I picked up at Draper's. It was on discount. Hold on one moment. Okay. So this remnant, it's still got the label on. It's wool. It is, golly, yes, it's so it's almost 3 meters. It's 150 wide. It was $92.80 and I got it for $46. So pretty good bargain there. Beautiful. I need to make something with it because it's absolutely glorious. The other thing that I discovered was I do have a little bit of a penchant for tartan. I've just got a couple of them here, but I did discover quite a few bits of tartan. I've got one really heavyweight sort of blanket tartan up there. I got that from a charity shop. No, tell a lie. I got that because my daughter got it from a charity shop and she brought it back and she said, Mum, I saw this and I thought of you. It's really lovely. So I really want to make a blanket skirt, like a tartan blanket skirt or something like that. But I do like tartan. So I have this tartan, which is it's a linen and wool from memory, because I bought this not that long ago. So that's really beautiful. It's very lightweight, but I don't know what to do with that. But maybe some sort of top, a shirt, very nice. And then there's also this one, which is actually a cotton. It's a brushed cotton, so I've classed it as winter fabric. Brushed cotton, again, a lovely tartan. I do like a tartan. And of course, a tartan is very much George. George really likes tartan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out this video. I'll put a link up there to basically about my style story and how I've sort of worked out my aesthetic, if you like.
So this is very much George. Well, both the tartines are. The other weakness I have does seem to be a Prince of Wales check, because I have maybe 2 or 3 pieces of Prince of Wales check up there. And what I mean by Prince of Wales check is this one. It's a particular sort of tartan. It's a little bit like a tartan, but not. Now, I have a number of these, and they are in wool suiting. So those, of course, are from the days when I bought fabric because I was working in an office, and the clothes that I would make were for office use. And of course, in those days as well, I'm not talking a long time, we're talking pre-COVID, so it's not that long ago, but yeah, what is it, 4 years now? Golly, time flies. But pre-COVID, I used to work in an office, and so I would wear, and I think everybody wore, a lot more sort of formal clothing. Also, that was pre-Cornwall Pocket Farm and changing my life to be more sustainable. And so these fabrics are wool dry clean only suiting, I think. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that I don't dry clean things now for a number of reasons, chemicals, what have you. So what I'm going to do, don't shoot me, I know, things might go wrong here, but I am going to hand wash them. All of these fabrics, before I make anything, I am going to hand wash them or run them through the wool wash on my machine. If they don't survive, well, they're just not supposed to be with me any longer. Because I can't be doing with fabrics that aren't going to survive my normal washing routines, if you like. The Prince of Wales check, again, is very George, I think. I can imagine that he might have a club in the city, maybe. Yes, George has a club in the city, and he goes up to the city for business events, and he would obviously need some smarter trousers that aren't as countrified as his other attire. So yes, the Prince of Wales is going to fit in right there. So I'm going to use them, and if I end up gardening in some Prince of Wales check trousers, well, so be it. I don't see why you can't do these things, and I have this fabric, so I might as well use it. And then this one is glorious. I knew I had it in my stash. It is the most amazing brocade in a brown and teal, and again, I don't know if the camera is picking this up properly, and I've got an amazing amount of this, probably about 5 meters, but it's very, very narrow width. The pattern runs on the narrow width, if you like, so that means that I'm going to have to make separates, or at least have something with a waist seam, because I can't turn it the other way because all the trees will be on the side, which won't look good. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but very fabulous. I think it's something that Elise might wear, so I'll have to give some thought to that and see what I'm going to make. This is a needle cord with a sort of, what this reminds me of, I have to say, is originally, I mean, we're from the UK, both my husband and I are from the UK. I grew up in Britain, and this reminds me of pub flock wallpaper. And when I bought it, I think I just bought it because it just reminded me of flock wallpaper. But it actually is rather fabulous, I think. So I'm not quite sure what to do with this either. A winter fabric, definitely. And I've probably got enough here for a dress. So that could be exciting. And then the last one. I don't know where. I mean, what was I thinking? I don't know. So this is a metallic denim. It's very stiff. I'm not quite sure what I would make with this. It's not very George, and it's not really very Elise, but I like it. So I think it will be something. What? I don't know. If anybody has any ideas what I can do with some really quite heavyweight metallic, silver metallic denim, please put it in the comments below, because any sort of inspiration here would be very much appreciated. Oh, and I also have this one. Rather lovely. It's a sort of a cotton. It's like a cotton sateen, I think. Maybe a sort of a kimono style dressing gowny type of thing. If you could just pop down in the comments below what you think I could make. Well, any of these fabrics, in fact, the ones I've shown you just now, or anything you spotted while we were doing that sort of measuring and folding and photographing piece. Anything you spotted in there that looks particularly interesting to you, mention it below, and just let me know what I might make with it, because at the moment it's all up in the air. Still coming up with ideas. on with the next phase now, which is to basically work out the garments that are going to be in my winter wardrobe, and then work out a sort of a sewing schedule. So that's the next thing to do, is to figure out what I'm going to have in my winter wardrobe, draw up the designs, the features, the elements on each piece, how they're all going to work together. So which tops would go with which skirts and all of those sorts of things to make sure it'll work. I will be, of course, using all the learnings that I had from my summer capsule wardrobe. I'll put the playlist up here as well, so that if you want to go and have a look at that, there was a whole load of realizations, learning, thought process, and all that sort of stuff went into that. And I have also explained some of that in my tips and tricks series, which again I will link up here for you. So all of that learning will come in to me designing what I'm going to do for my winter wardrobe. And of course I will be doing it on using my croquis to sort of map everything out and design the particular garments. I will bring you along for the ride, of course, and show you what is going to be in my winter wardrobe. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching my stash stock take. And I should say hello to my new subscribers. You're very welcome, and it's lovely to have you along. And of course, a big thank you to the people that have been following me for a while. It's very much appreciated that you come back and watch my channel every week, and I do love your comments. So please keep them coming, and I will see you next time. Bye.